Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the URC. This one, it is Leinster versus the Stormers. Now, this Leinster side looks very different to what we are used to seeing. The Stormers team looking extremely strong. So this one could be a very close game taking place as a home match for Leinster. But looking through at the starting lineups first of all, but also alongside that, we will look through at the overall standings. As you can see, Leinster, they are sitting top of the bunch. They have not lost a game so far throughout this URC season, sitting 9 wins from 9. And this is a big opportunity to go 10 in a row. But this game, Stormers side, they will be trying their best to stop that momentum. And they are currently sitting in 11th. With a big win here, they could find themselves within that top 8. Looking through at the starting lineup for Leinster. In the front row, it will be Jack Boyle, Dan Sheehan, and Slimani. And the locking duo, Argia Sneyman, gets himself the start alongside Brian Deeney. And then the loose forward trio, Soroka, Scott Penny, and Max Deegan. As the number 8, Luke McGrath and Ross Byrne in the 9-10 channel, with Geordie Barrett moving back to the midfield. He has been playing a little bit more of 15 more recently for Leinster. He is there as the inside centre. Liam Turner on his outside at 13. Then James Lowe, Osborne, and also the youngster at number 15, McCurling, whose name I might be slightly mispronouncing. Looking through at the Stormers side, Alistair Vermaak, Joseph Dweber, and Nedeling Forshare as the front three. JD Schikkerling alongside Ruben van Heerden in the locking duo with Dion Fourie, Ben Jason Dixon, and Evan Roos. Of course, loves to run that ball. I'm going to be running hard at Deegan all day. Paul Davitt and Manny Libok in that 19 channel, with Roach and now in the midfield, Zas, Loader, and Warwick Hallant at number 15. So those are the starting sides. In the chat we have got there Stormers by 3. Why is an Irish ref blowing this game? There was actually a situation with Piardi, and it was to do with travelling, that they weren't quite able to get the neutral referee over. So because of that, it means that we do get to see a non-neutral referee in this situation. Instead, an Irish referee will be in charge. I just got back from Emirates Airline Park after watching the Bulls and the Lions game, and I'm a proud Bulls supporter, and we won. Says Jaden there. Yeah, great performance from the Bulls to be able to get themselves the victory. Definitely closing out that game on a high, which is exactly what they would have been after. I thought the Bulls were down and out. Marcel, you beauty. We always got there. So lovely to be with you again, mate. Glad you're still awake. 5 tinnies down, but enjoying your company as well. Thank you, says Robert. We have also got the donation. I just got back from the Emirates Airline Park. I'm a blue ball, says Jaden there as well. Greatly appreciated for your generosity. Looking through at the benches for these two sides. And they are going to be as follows. McKee, McCarthy, and Maguire all going to be there as the front row replacements. Mangan and Colhane. Then Connors, Foley, and then at number 23, you can't see him at the moment, but it is Charlie Tector, the last man. In the Leinster side for the Stormers, it is Andre Hugo Fenta, Brock Harris, and Franz Malharba. So a little bit of Springbok. Coming off the bench there, Salman Moura alongside Marcel Tennyson. Then Paul de Villiers, Herschel Yankees, and number 23 is Similani for the Stormers. We have got there to get some sleep, Hamish. Maybe, I would say an hour if I was lucky, which I will still take because it is a lot more sleep than I will be getting for the next little while. But yeah, I was very excited for this game. I knew it was going to be a big one when these two sides go face to face. And I just hope it backs up the expectation. Like Leinster versus Stormers here on paper should be an outstanding game. And we're only around 5 minutes away from the kickoff of this match. But I just hope that it is as free-flowing and just as high scoring as it really could be. I mean, the Stormers, they have to chase, that's the thing. They could chase a bonus point here in terms of 4 tries or more, or they can just play it a little bit safer and say whatever happens, happens, and we're just going to look for the win here rather than going for the full 7 that could be available. But we'll have to wait and see which Stormers side shows up. They've been a little bit inconsistent, unfortunately, in the last little while, and it's something that's been hurting them in the competition. We'll have to wait and see if they can find the consistency. Looking through at the recent games, there we go. That's the wrong one. One moment. There we go. Perfect. So for Leinster, they were able to beat La Rochelle, something that they've struggled to do in recent times, but winning it in France as well. 16 points to 14, and then having a big win over the Bath, 47 points to 21 for the Stormers. They won up against the Sale Sharks, 40 points to 0, losing to Racing, 31 points to 22, and that was a game that they definitely needed to win. So sadly for the Stormers, their Champions Cup is over. I don't think many people saw that coming. Thought that maybe at least one side will make it through the Champions Cup, but sadly, at this stage, not a single one. Challenge Cup has a few South African sides. We've got the Sharks in there. The Bulls are going to be in there. The Lions, but no Stormers. They have completely missed out for John Dobson's side. So they've got a little bit of redemption that they will want as well. Looking through at what is to come for these two sides. Leinster, they have got the Ospreys. That is in 20 days' time. Of course, something that is to come very shortly for these teams is the Six Nations. And then, of course, we have got the next game for the Stormers. They'll be up against the Bulls. That is 14 days' time. And then the week after that, we do see the Stormers going head-to-head with the Lions as well. So quite a few South African derbies still to come for the South African teams, catching up on the matches that they missed. Hope Stormers can cause a massive upset. But yes, at the Aviva, going to be a hard day at the office, says Sakabola. And like someone said earlier on, this is their best chance to beat Leinster when they have got a few of the team missing. And of course, that is something that the Stormers can't help. They can only beat what is in front of them. But yeah, a big win here would be massive. But Leinster, more than likely, are just going to make it a safe 10 from 10. During the break, I finally had a bench PR 160 kg. Now got a few beers, enjoying your commentary. 9 weeks till Hong Kong. So here's Dame set match. So sounds like you've been extremely busy preparing for that Hong Kong Sevens. I hope Geordie is excited to play against the Stormers again. So he's safe. And yeah, I saw a stat earlier on that someone also did mention, and that was the fact that Leinster have never beaten the Stormers. So it'll be very interesting to see how this one goes. Argia Snyman, he gets the starting opportunity up against the South African side. He is such a dangerous player with ball in hand. Hello, just found the channel. Can you show the game? See, welcome in again, mate. Hope you are. What's happening here? They're talking about the Exeter Chiefs and Saracens. I think they're showing the wrong game at the moment. I think that this game is getting very close to the kickoff, yet they are showing us Saracens versus the Exeter Chiefs. I think someone's pressed the wrong button at TVNZ. It should be a good game, but come on, the boys in blue. Which ones? Because, of course, both of them do wear that blue. Yeah, I think someone's pressed the wrong button. And they've got Leinster versus the Stormers confused with Exeter Chiefs versus Saracens. By the sounds of it, this will be interesting to see what happens to get us to the start of this game. And he says, Robert, yeah, hopefully it is a quick little fix that they are able to deal with, or else we will literally be looking at Premiership Rugby, which would be not ideal, as we wanted to see, of course, Leinster versus the Stormers. I wonder how they messed that up so much. But yeah, currently Gallagher Premiership is being shown here in New Zealand. Wrong game, lads, says Sebastian. Yeah. I didn't even know that TVNZ had the licensing for the Premiership, because they don't show any other games. Does that mean if we go on Sky, it's going to be the URC? We are pretty close to the kickoff of this contest, ladies and gents. Of course, the Sharks versus Cardiff was another game that was taking place in the very near future. Right, where is the Premiership? They got it here. No, so they've got, on Sky, they haven't got it. This is interesting. Can you show that one, though? Says Sebastian. I think someone's pressed the complete wrong button here in New Zealand. And we've got Premiership teams warming up at the moment. Oh, hang on, it's frozen. This might be good. There we go. They've found the right button. Someone's gone beep. And now Mani Libok is on screen. Whew. It got me a little bit nervous. I was a bit worried. There's Arges Neyman, big smile on his face, and we are now underway for this URC fixture. I was about to be quite sad if we weren't going to catch the action. So why didn't they show the build-up of this game rather than build up a premiership to then jump over? But Marnie Libok gets us underway for this match of the URC, and Leinster are in possession. So they'll be looking to get off to a great start at the Aviva. Try and put the Stormers team under pressure. We haven't had the best away record throughout this year. Lant going up for the ball, but it sits back up for McGrath, who goes for the little chip in behind. Marnie Libok at the back has to deal with it. And the game has just kicked off, and let's go the Stormers, says LFG. Now, kicking it downfield, looking for a 50, 22, and tell you what, he might just have it. Yes, he does. The young number 15, Henry McCurlane, it's about the best start that he could have had. And just has all the time in the world, the Stormers left it wide open for him. And McCurlane just manages to go straight through and get that 50-22. Leinster now have themselves the throw. Throw on this one, and Dan Sheehan playing in this contest. It has a massive bonus for Leinster. Good attacking run forward from Geordie Barrett. Now Arges Neyman, a rare mistake from him, does end up dropping the ball. Looks like he is well and truly tied up with Dion Foree. Now 10 metres out from their own line here, the Stormers still under that knock-on advantage. Ben Jason Dixon, this time tackled by Sheehan and Sneyman. Paul DeVette. Starting 9 in this game, they have got Herschel Youngkies to make his way off the bench. And the advantage is now over. Doesn't manage to find touch. Mackerleen. Go on back across now to James Lowe. A few of these guys, they just want to give a few more minutes to before the Six Nations competition. And back across to the right-hand side. Arges Neyman. McGrath. Back across to the left-hand side. Got attack and run forward from Leinster. Geordie Barrett, quick hands. And that tackle was complete by the Stormers, losing the footing, so they do have to release it on the ground, and the penalty goes the way of the home side. The ref just saying they lost their footing there for the Stormers. No obstruction either. A good shot coming in on Andrew Osborne. Could have actually almost been obstruction there. The under-20s Six Nations starts this coming Thursday. Says Richard, yeah, there's plenty of rugby coming up in the near future. Six Nations going to be starting next weekend. We also get to see Super Rugby start up in only a few weeks. Looks like Byrne will take on the 3 here, though. Seems like the best choice at the moment for this Leinster side. Just talking about the slipperiness and the greasiness of the turf. As we can see quite a few handling errors throughout this match. Hopefully not too many. Don't want to see that running rugby. Leinster normally very good with their ball speed. Stormers, they have that X factor, the unpredictability. Marnie Libok at 10 and Hlant at 15. Leinster home game going to be a good match, says JD. Now lining up this kick. Burns strikes well and does get it over. So that'll make the score now 3-0 for Leinster. You would assume that they will just take any points that they get given to them by the Stormers. Bit of a silly penalty to give away early. Morning Kiwi lads, just got up. See you, Spider Mix. Hopefully you did have a decent sleep. Yeah, rearing to go for a bit more URC rugby. Marnie Libok now. Kicking this one off. Down towards the 22. That's going to be knocked on from Warakaland. Well claimed by Sneyman. Now, McGrath has got the option of clearing his lines. And he looks towards the touchline. Does get the ball out. For Leinster, they will be looking to really start this match quick. Try and take the Stormers out of it from the get-go and then just keep on applying that pressure until they eventually work their way towards a bonus point. It is something we've seen them do many times over. Oh, there's going to be a knock on this time from the Stormers, so we do get to see another scrum who in the 7 says Ruslan Lee. So the two semi-finals are Argentina versus Spain. Spain once again doing extremely well for this leg of the sevens. And then the other game is going to be South Africa versus Australia. So we are going to be covering both of those ones, or at least one of them anyway. We're definitely doing South Africa versus Australia on the channel. Only 5 minutes through. First scrum of the match. Now, the referees have been told with the new laws to keep it speedy and not allow more than 30 seconds or so for a scrum. The Stormers must play together as a team, not as individuals, says Adrian. And Aussie, South African, Spain, RG's in the playoffs, and our Black Sevens are useless, says Spider-Mickey. They've been struggling big time. Lost to Uruguay, so did Fiji. And in the end, Spain beating Uruguay 38-0. So it just shows how either poor New Zealand and Fiji were or how strong Uruguay were for those two contests. And then they got that reality check. Okay, referee just saying there, not enough stability at scrum time. Goes to Dweber looking at him extremely confused. But now, we get to see that next scrum. And always a Stormer, says Hendrick, and thanks, says Ruslan Lee. No worries at all. Yeah, those games will be taking place in the morning for South African time. And I, Hamish, and everyone managed to get some sleep. About an hour, I think I managed to get myself, and think this Leinster team is too strong for the Stormers. Leinster to win by 15. There's Lilia B, and that is going to be a big push from Leinster, who have now got themselves the penalty. That is very nicely done by the home team. I'll give them a lot of confidence early on. Of course, off the bench for the Stormers, they have got some big names, like Sir Frans Malherbe. Oh, hang on. They've just said that Frans Malherbe is actually not going to be off the bench. He was pulled out late for this matchup. And where this took place, Emmy, so this one is taking place at the Aviva Stadium in Ireland. So they have got the home field advantage. Leinster. Will be doing Ulster versus Queensland Reds game on the 7th of Feb? Maybe. I think there's a few preseason games that we would love to do, but some of them do overlap with other things that we are doing. That is going to be the penalty now going the way of Leinster again. Dion Fourie is the man who's been penalised. It's not the greatest start to the match for the Stormers. They're struggling to find their rhythm. And it does look like Leinster are just going to continue taking those 3-pointers when they become available. No, in fact, my apologies. They're actually going to kick this one for the corner. Watch the 2005 All Blacks versus Wales. Says RIP. And Stormers can't handle the storm. Says Neville. Yeah, they're certainly having an early storm against them here up against Leinster, who are just looking to push that pace. Dan Sheehan now, chance to throw this ball in. Now, it's going to be overthrown but knocked on by Dweber. The ball was there for them. But Dweber just not quite able to rein it in. And Sheehan apologises to his teammates. That line out certainly did not go the way Leinster would have liked. In fact, they never even lifted anyone. What's the weather like? It's all right by the looks of it, although a little bit dewy, so it's going to be a slippery ball for this matchup, as we've seen already in the last kind of 8 minutes or so. Are going to be the scrum feed for Leinster in a perfect position on the field to launch a bit of a set piece, I should say. I would say that Geordie Barrett will be a target to run this ball hard. Possession at the moment, 68% in favour of Leinster. Territory is 93% for the home team. And Leinster Thunders, says JD. Oh, that one has gone down again at scrum time. Doesn't seem to be a huge amount of stability at the moment. Doyle, Sheehan and Slimani up against Vermaak, Dweber and Nillingford. He's normally known for being quite a handy scrummager. Got his hands full with Jack Boyle here, though. Slimani also has to try and kick this one up. And Dublin always bad weather. That's why the Guinness flows like water, says Bill. And I always wonder if South African team handle away game. It can be a bit of a struggle at times. I think the Champions Cup showed that, although that showed it across the board for a lot of teams. That away from home does make it difficult. Max Deegan now breaking off the back of the scrum, 10 metres out from the line. In fact, even closer than that, around 5. Now it goes across to Deeney now. McGrath. Where is Geordie Barrett and where is Argia Snyman? Those are the two big questions because Snyman has that offloading ability that makes it very difficult to defend up against. Going on the inside to Deeney once again. Now off to the right-hand side. Just a little bit of a standing start at the moment. Oh, maybe James Lowe might have connected a bit high on one of the Stormers players. Nice backline. Barrett passes to Osborne. And the assist for Geordie. The try for Andrew Osborne, and Leinster are on the board first. Now, they may look at that one in the breakdown. It was the Stormers player who did say that he did get struck in the face and about 2 breakdowns prior. But if they don't go back for it, Leinster have got themselves the 8-point lead with the kick to come. And they're just shifting it away to the right-hand side. And then just caught off the wing for Lilian Zas. Come on, ref, says Spider Mech. Part of Ireland, UK is hit with that massive storm, says JD. Oh, we're hearing something to do with the ref chatting. I don't think he's looking at it, though. Now ready to line up this kick. It is Ross Byrne. Taking some more deep breaths. Just wants to strike very nicely, which he has. It's come around. Goes straight down the middle. 10 points to 0 now for Leinster. Stormers are not out of this game, but they have to be the next team to get on the score sheet. Or else it might just be a little bit too much of a mountain to climb. Yeah, really nice finish from Leinster being able to shift that one out wide. Geordie's really having a field day since getting there. And would you agree the Stormers have the better bench, says Sports Fan? I would say that with Franz Malharba, I would have put their bench right up there, but they don't have him anymore. Instead, it's going to be Satoli and also Brock Harris. So it's a tricky one, to be honest. I feel like they do certainly have more experience off their bench. You know, a few of those young guys for Leinster might go all right, but yeah, I would say that Stormers have that little bit of an edge, but it depends on how they use it. Ross Byrne nailed an off-centre kick, says Bill Whitlingham. Exactly right. Very nice kick from Ross Byrne. This is going to be a high-scoring game with a low score on the Stormers side, says Neville. Anyone else having issues with TG4 coverage? Hopefully someone will be able to let you know. I know that when we were starting to watch this game, they actually showed us the premiership between Saracens and Exeter Chiefs rather than this contest, so it was awfully confusing watching the English teams warm up. I said it again, the Stormers are playing each man for himself, and this can cost them the game, says Adrian. And Storm Squad, says Spider-Man. And also at this point of the game, they've had about 90% territory against them. So that certainly hasn't helped either. No issues, just an Irish, says Damien. Now Paul DeVette has got possession for his side. Manny Libok went across to Dion Forey. Now this is their first real attack and chance. Is that a deliberate knockdown from Geordie Barrett or just a knock-on? It's too strong for their opponents at the moment, says JD. And yeah, I'm having the same problem, but Premier Sports is showing the game as well, says Richard. Oh, that's a big slamming tackle. I think he got the timing slightly wrong, Alex Soroka. Does give away the penalty. Can't tackle the scrum half, which means now Manny Libok, they will kick for the corner here. They're already down by 10, so they can't really afford to go for the early 3. And also, if they were to miss it, just like we saw in that Lions versus Bulls game, can hurt you quite badly. And TG4 not playing ball. Gura, says Nate Dogg. So, to answer your question earlier on, Philip, yes, someone else is also having trouble with TG4 by the looks of it. The Stormers hasn't got it right yet. That does not mean they don't have time to get it right. Still 65 minutes remaining in this game of Union. If it was a game of sevens, it would be over by now. The Stormers would have lost, but still got plenty more time. Joseph Dueba just saying that he is lining up his foot with the middle of the line out. Take a slight step that way, says the referee to centralise Joseph Dueba. And that's going to be nicely claimed by the Stormers. Dion Fourie. I think McGrath took an awkward shot to the head there. Wasn't too quick getting back to his seat. Thanks for the feedback. Says Philip there. Yeah, hopefully the coverage does come right for you guys. Here's Evan Russ. Now off to the left again, Alistair Vermaak for his first carry of the day. And there's a knock on. And TG4 have a Gaelic football match instead. WTF, says Christian. Yeah, see, at the start of our coverage, they had the premiership. So I wonder whether or not, like, it's just a problem that everyone's had at some point. But luckily, here in New Zealand, they fixed it before the start. But yeah, good tackle made by Argeir Sneyman. Knocked the ball out of the hands of Vermaak. And we're celebrating that one big time, Leinster. That was a important little passage of play. First attacking chance for the Stormers in a long time. The risk going for the corner has not paid off. And our game still. Oh, our game is still on TG4. Says Damien Kelly. Now scrum feed. Already been a little bit 50-50 when it comes to scrums. And in fact, every single one has gone down so far. I'm watching the rugby game on TG4. And it's a bit laggy, but it's still the rugby game, says Richard. Available for McGrath, back into the pocket. The big boot of Geordie Barrett. And he does bounce it into touch. In fact, it has actually burned this time, who did get the kick away by the looks of it. Yes, it was. He had Geordie Barrett on his outside. I was about to praise Geordie Barrett again, saying that he wasn't doing this for the ABs in November. 17 minutes in now. Another line out for the Stormers. This game is absolutely flying by, just like the last one did. Joseph Dueba now trying to throw that ball in. It's going to be overcooked. A little advantage going the way of the Stormers. Knock on from Leinster in the air. Disappointed about it as well, Dan Sheehan. Thought that his side had done enough. It just ends up hitting the fingers of Deeney as he went up for it. Now another scrum. This game might be dominated by scrums at the moment, so hopefully we get some sort of structure to them. Paul Levitt just having a little bit of a conversation with the referee. Of course, with the new laws, it means that the halfbacks aren't allowed to pass the scrum. Should help the ball get out a little bit better. I can't watch the game, says Terminator X. Are you trying to watch it on TG4 by any chance, Terminator X? Now fed in by Paul Levitt. Much better scrum, although that one has wheeled all round to the side, and the penalty does go the way of the Stormers. Told to stay straight, but wheeling the scrum is what Leinster have been penalised for there. Now, they've got another decision to make, and it seems like a pretty easy one. They are going for the corner yet again. They know that they can't win this game with 3-pointers here, the Stormers, even though if they had taken the threes and got them over, they'd be sitting only 4 points down currently. Greetings from Arania Hamish. Good to see you again. Says Gerhard, and it is great to see you too. And that guy for the Kiwi lad save the day, Kate flapping in the wind, says Nate Dog. Yeah, it is a brutal time that these games do take place every once in a while. This one is a 6 a.m. kickoff for us here in New Zealand, but we certainly didn't want to miss it. These two sides, we know it was going to be a good one. TG4, player is the issue. Appreciate the commentary and the feedback. Says Philip, and still waiting on them to make the 9. To feed the ball straight. That's going to be stolen by Leinster again. Now, There is already an advantage in their favour and another knock on, which means we get, yet again, another scrum. Too much fiddling around with the stupid rules. Says Spider Mech. And search through Canadian sports channels to find any rugby, only Perth Sevens replay. Says JD. With Leinster defence, you take the threes. Says Robert. Dan Sheehan, he thought he had it. In fact, I'm very surprised that he didn't catch that ball. He had about 3 or 4 cracks at it. But in the end, it just didn't quite stick to the hands. So Joseph Dweber has a bit of an issue with his right leg currently. Just getting a little bit of strapping around the ankle. Should be all right to continue in this match, but already a quarter of the way down. It's going so fast. The last game, actually, between the Bulls and the Lions also flew by. So it must just be one of those days. But I should mention there is another game of the URC that is taking place at the moment, and that is the matchup between the Sharks and Cardiff. 5 minutes in, neither side have conceded as of yet. So you will, of course, keep you updated with what is happening. And in that contest, do the Stormers have any chance? They do to a certain extent, but they have to be clinical. And now they've had a few drop balls already throughout this matchup, but if they can start finding their rhythm yet again here, they just have to just go out there and just give it a fair crack, not let the occasion get the better of them. At the end of the day, you're at the Aviva, which some sides do seem to crumble when they get that pressure on them. And I'm watching the game on TG4, TV channel, not the player, says Richard. 5 handling errors already from Leinster, 4 from the Stormers, so 9 throughout the first 20 minutes, which is why we've had so many scrums. But now we get another one. Tell you what, if you are a fan of scrums, just in general, this game's for you. Because there's been a lot of them, and we're about to have maybe another scrum advantage going the way of the Stormers. I think both sides were a little bit guilty of wheeling there. It looks like they are going to be playing the penalty advantage. Who's crowned champs in the Aussie Sevens? No one as of yet. The semi-finals will be taking place later on today or tomorrow morning for you guys in South Africa. That's a great wide cutout pass. And Ben Loader scores the try. And the Stormers now are on the board. But yeah, on one side of the draw, it is Argentina versus Spain. And the other side of the draw, it is going to be South Africa taking on Australia. So yeah, the defending champs of Cape Town taking on the host nation. A good finish there at scrum time. My neck is starting to hurt with all these scrums, says Bill. Scrums are boring, says Spider Mech. Yeah, there's been a lot of them so far. Let's go the Stormers, says LFG, but they made the most of that one for the Stormers. Oh no, I want to make the tackle was Henry McCurleen. Mani Lebok pass. Says Wemma, yeah, nice pass from Mani Lebok. And what a Calant as well. Those two link up very nicely when they're both attacking minded. First kick of the day for Mani Lebok here. He's got 10 seconds on the shot clock. And nails it from the sideline, making it 10 points to 7. A high pressure kick. And Lebok gets it over. What's your prediction on the Blitzbox versus Australia Sevens match? It's a tough one. And I do think, to be honest, based off what we've seen recently, it's got to be South Africa. They have looked the part in their last couple of games. Like the way that they were able to pick apart Fiji, not many sides can do that. So, yeah, I'd go South Africa. We are going to have a preview a little bit closer to kickoff, hopefully. If we do manage to find some sort of spare time before it. Why do I get the feeling the quality of these URC teams are just far inferior to any international game, says Stefan. I mean, you're probably right. Like a lot of franchise and club rugby is going to be a lower level than international rugby because they pick the cream of the crop from these teams to play internationals. So it is expected that that should be the stronger format. Now, nice attack and run from Henry McCurleen. The first thing that he did in this game was get a 50-22. You might need a try here. And thanks, I thought the Blitzbox was knocked out, but great, says Gerhard. So yeah, they managed to beat Fiji in the quarterfinal 19-0, I believe it was. And Carter 5-0 up against the Sharks. Says Lilia B. Loose Bill Argies Neyman does drop it. now his second handling error in this game. And I've done some dangerous things in my life because I am a bit stupid. I'm lucky to be here listening in. Says RIP. I see. It seems very deep and kind of mysterious. Now passed on the outside. Now Ben Loader was the man who scored the last try. Having their hands full at the moment, Leinster. We survived one storm yesterday. We'll survive this one today. Hello from Comeo in the west of Ireland. Says a Damien loose ball. And well handled by Alistair Vermark. Now, good tackle made on Warrikalant Roach to try and carve his way through. Good ball retention at the moment for the Stormers. Every breakdown, Leinster are throwing in at least one player to try and get that turnover. But the Stormers, Mani Libok was going to kick it and instead has dropped that ball cold, which has then put it back in the side of Leinster. But the Stormers get themselves the penalty, actually working out better in their favour that Libok dropped that ball. Sharks have got their work cut out. Cardiff, no pushovers, says Gerhard. They've just said there, knock on there, knock on here. Knock-ons everywhere. At the Aviva. Stefan, the season is too long and mixed with the cup comp. So you have these C-team matchups. Says Wenmar. Now kicked into touch. The Stormers have got themselves the line out. They'll be about 40 metres out from the line. It's a nice step from Mani Libok a bit earlier on as well. Keeping Leinster on their toes. Now the line out. Joseph Dueba. Leinster have been trying hard to get those line out steals and they've been very close about 3 times in a row. Argias Neyman didn't get the lift on him. Now Mani Libok went for the kick. It's going to be charged down. Knocked backwards by the Stormers and Ben Loader driven backwards by Brian Deeney and the penalty goes to Leinster. They lost the ball first in that counter ruck. Okay, Joseph Dweba has been told to calm down by the referee. He's not too happy with that call. Please don't pick a scrum here, Leinster. Kick it for touch instead. It's a good driving kick down the line. I'm going to see it there. Dan Sheehan, the man who got their hands to it. Sharks better win today. Says Tyrone. Well, at the moment, they are down by 5. Currently sitting 5-0 in that contest up against Cardiff. That was a penalty for hands in the ruck. Cardiff, Ospreys, Dragons surprise this season. And which channel can I watch on TNT? Hopefully someone will be able to help you out in terms of the channel to watch. Now, nice run forward from Max Deegan. Sitting 35 metres out from the line here. Leinster McGrath looks to the short side. Quick hands out wide. Now on to Liam Turner. And another penalty goes the way of Leinster. Go Leinster, says Christian. Okay, 15 affecting the breakdown, I think I heard there from the referee. In fact, no, it's against Ruan Nell. And so the Ireland B team is playing, says, I'm nutty a little bit. They've still got some great players in this lineup. Dan Sheehan's in there, Arges Neyman. You got Scott Penny and Max Deegan in that loose forward trio. Byrne playing 10 with McGrath. And then James Lowe out on the wing, partnered with Geordie Barrett and Liam Turner in the midfield. So it's a nice mix for Leinster. I wouldn't necessarily call it a B team. I think they're still a pretty strong looking lineup. If you're talking about the Cardiff versus Sharks game, it's on S4C or Premier Sports 2 here in Ireland in the UK. Here's Richard. Australian Super Rugby teams like the Reds topped up their squad. A match against Bristol, the result says if they are ready for Super Rugbies. Here's JD. Looks like early they look like they're about to make a change, Leinster here, if not careful. 27 minutes in at the moment. This looks like a bit of an injury to the leg of, I think it's Jack Boyle. I would be surprised to see Lowe and Sheehan in the second half. Here's Bill. Yeah, I would say if it's a close game, we might see them a little bit longer. But if it's one-sided and they're, let's say 15 points up or something like that, I could see them making those changes. Charlie Tector, ready to go. I think it was actually Liam Turner with the injury there rather than Jack Boyle. Now Byrne will kick this one towards the corner. Got it off the side of the boot. Now Dan Sheehan with the important line-out throw. Sitting about 15 metres out from the line, though. Not quite getting into the corner like they would have liked. Nicely taken by Sneyman. Now looking to get this one marching in the right direction. McGrath waiting for it off the back. Gives it to Geordie Barrett. Tried to make his way through. And McGrath again. Going off to Deeney. Well, Sheehan tackled by Evan Russ. These are important tackles to be making. Arias Sneyman looking for the offload and manages to get it. James Lowe with a quick hands out wide to, I believe it was actually going to be Liam Turner, the man who's half injured. Looking for the offload there, James Lowe, and he has knocked it on in the process. Did you do a Six Nations prediction yet? I have not, no. And to be honest, like, I don't so much have a prediction. I just hope that it's going to be close and that last round is going to mean something. Like, we've seen it in the past sometimes that everyone knows who's going to win by that stage because of some of the big matches that happen earlier on when you're a kid, Amy. How's your literacy? Mine is a 2 out of 10, poor as. Like, I was probably average, I'd say, overall. Like, I wasn't one of the super duper smart kids back at school, but I also, like, could do the basics, if that makes sense. So, like, I was smack bang in the middle. Pretty much like my, like, impartialness now, how everything was just about a 5 or a 6, maybe a 7. And Six Nations England win. So here's Robert. Now it's going to be another scrum due to another knock on. Like I said, if you love scrums, you'll love this game because there has been a lot of scrums. Now, they are inside of their 22 here, the Stormers, so more than likely if they do win this, they will just have to clear their lines. You don't want to be risking losing possession inside of your own 22, definitely not up against a side like Leinster. You've got that counter-attacking ability. Hamish is 8 out of 10 street smart, and the penalty goes the way of Leinster. McGrath, does he want to take it quickly? What's the scrum count? Honestly, it's getting up towards double figures, I would say, at the moment. We'll have a quick look and see if we got the exact stat here. And now kicking for the corner. Much better one from Burns still at the Stormers. Says Shahid there. Should mention as well that there have been a couple subs that have recently been made. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. There we go. So yeah, number 4, JD Schickling will make his way from the field. That is for Salman Moura. I assume due to injury rather than strategy. At this point, greeting gents, absolutely freezing. Weekend for rugby in Europe, overthrown there from Leinster. But yeah, hope you are keeping well on the right. Now, McGrath goes across. Oh, Argus Neyman ended up in front, so caused an obstruction wall. And the penalty goes the way of the Stormers. France, England, Ireland, Scotland, Italy and Wales. And why doesn't the Stormers kick their penalties? Don't they think they waste points? They don't score from kicking to the touchline. Maybe, I guess, Marnie doesn't have confidence to kick for the pole, says Andre. Yeah, it just seems to be, in this game in particular, they're really trying to make sure that they stay within touch with Leinster, because the last thing that they want is to take a 3-pointer and then end up going down the field and have Leinster score. But I do agree. I think that there's been points out there that they have left. But yeah, it is a really tricky one. Definitely when you know that Leinster will more than likely score 3 or 4 tries throughout the game. Sharks are leading 7 points to 5, so managing to get themselves a try back. And their game up against Cardiff, once again overthrown by the Stormers. The line-out time has been a bit of an issue. And now Leinster moving up to 15 metres out. McGrath goes to the right-hand side. Chance for the young 15, Henry McErleen. He never played it in Sweden then. Says, I'm nutty, absolutely true. I hope I never have to, says on the right. Now the 9. Haven't seen a Geordie Barrett carry in a while. We're seeing a lot of everyone around Geordie. Little grubber attempted. Warwick Land didn't have a lot of space to work with. Partial charge down. Macrolean has to try and keep the ball in the field. And Effin Dweber, damn it, says win. Kicked high. And it's the penalty going the way of the Stormers for Leinster being offside. Yeah, in terms of the stats for this one, I do think we'll have somewhere that we can see the set piece. Hopefully. But no, apparently not. Okay, sorry, we can't get the scrum stat at this point, but yeah, I think we're up to about 10 scrums. Sharks leading 14-5, so 2 quick-fire tries for the Sharks by the sounds of it. 31 minutes through this contest, and the Stormers are yet again looking for another line-out to go their way. Have to get these throws right. Joseph Weber, the pressure is on him. Leinster are sweating on that intercept. They don't get it this time. Uncontested at the front. Nicely taken by Salman Murat. Ball has gone down. And straight over the ball, McGrath manages to get the steal. And Leinster have possession back. Back across to the right-hand side. Kick downfield from Byrne. Mani Libok waiting for it at the back. He has got the man with him. Instead will fire the massive wide cutout pass to Warwick Land. Offload to Lelian's ass. Beautifully done. Inside ball to Paul David. Offloads to Hevan Ruiz. But he does drop it. If they don't want to head my way or the way of the sevens type scrum, then they must sort the scrum fiasco. That's why we have a 100-minute game. Oh, loose ball at the back. Dion Foree. They call it as the knock on. He thought it went backwards. Ref says momentum was going forward. It's a great kick downfield from Leinster. They are really trying their best to keep this inside of the Stormers' half. Great attack and run from Warwick Land, though. A 2-man tackle on him. Still managed to find the offload to Lelion Zas. And then just going through the hands of Evan Ruiz. And then the kick downfield actually coming from Max Deegan, of all people. He managed to get a little bit of a banana kick on it. And then, yeah, Dion Foree knocking the ball on. So guess what we get? We get another scrum. Disappointment on the face of the experienced veteran for the Stormers. John Dobson does not look happy at the moment. The handling problems we have experienced. Brian Deeney has got a bit of strapping on one of his fingers, but he will be all right. 7 scrum is still contestable. Says Wimar, that is true, but it also is very quick in the process. You go in for the scrum, you go out. It's not quite like rugby league. Rugby league, you've got that uncontested scrum. Neyman, still a bit of a smile on the big man's face by the looks of it, loving the contest up against the fellow South Africans. And poor throwing into the line out. It's an old problem for Joseph Dweber, says Gerhard. And Fiji lost to Uruguay and thumped by South Africa, says Spider-Meek. That is true. Now McGrath. Ready to feed this ball in, and it's going to be a free kick. So not having the right gap is actually the call from the referee there. Quick tap taken by Leinster. 6 minutes remaining in this first half. Evan Ruiz makes the tackle. Argia Sneyman thought about the offload and he still manages to find it. That is incredibly impressive. Geordie Barrett offload as well. Low had 2 men with him but just ended up falling the wrong way. McGrath now might have been a partial knock on the ground. Andrew Osborne, he's already got himself the first try for Leinster. Geordie Barrett trying to cut through the middle. Tackled low by Dweb. Another offload goes to Slimani. And the penalty goes the way of the Stormers, winning back the ball in the breakdown. Not releasing penalty going against Slimani. A ref lean towards Leinster, says Spider-Mick. Although the penalty count, I think, is relatively even at the moment. Or at least I thought it was. Yeah, penalty count is 6 against the Stormers, 5 against Leinster. And I think with that penalty now awarded, that makes it 6-6. Like they've said, Argias Neyman, they were trying to lock up the arms so that he wasn't able to get an offload, and he still managed to find one. Looks like Leinster not having their way so far. See, here's Winmar. But now getting ready to throw this ball in. Ref a little bit frustrated with how long that line out took, but nicely claimed by Ruben van Heeren. Now off to Evan Roos. Paul de Vet looks like he is going to be going for the box kick. Hamish's Portia Woodman are still playing for the New Zealand Women's Sevens. Love her to pieces. I don't think... Oh, to be honest, I don't actually know. I know that she was going to be retiring, but I'm not sure if she's done that yet or whether she's still got this season to finish off. Now, Argias Neyman again. The attack and run. Luke McGrath told to use it. Looks like Leinster not having their way so far. Yeah, the Stormers are keeping this one competitive. James Lowe going up for it, another knock on, and in fact it was a double knock on there, one for each side. And we will go back for, you guessed it, another scrum. Looks like Lebock might have a little bit of an injury here. Looks like a little bit of ice on the knee. But yeah, a lot of errors, I think, is the best way of describing this first half. It is a slippery situation out there, though, so a certain number of errors can be expected. But, yeah, maybe a couple too many for both of these sides. 3.5 minutes left in this first half. It has at least been flying by. I can move on to Michaela Blyde, Gerhard, Stez Winmar. Just showing some of the highlights of Argias Neyman so far with his offloading game. I'm just seeing that he's had about 3 or 4 offloads already, Argias Neyman, even in the times where it didn't look like he should have been able to get that offload away. But a big smile on his face while he's doing it. And 100% understand why. Okay, this is a long conversation going on between the ref and one of the front rows here, by the sounds of it. And if the Stormers lose, then it'll be fine. They'll still make the top 8, I believe that, says Drayton. But yeah, if they can get out of this game with at least 1 point, you know, a bonus point for being within 7 or a bonus point for scoring 4 tries, I think that would be a pretty big one for them. Just to get some form of something on the board up against the Leinster side who are at the Aviva. Yeah, just quite a bit of strapping going on to the right knee of Marnie Lebock currently. But he is all right to continue. Stormers will do great to enter second half, trailing only by 3, says Gerhard. Yeah, I think they'd take it. Being down by 3 at half time, definitely with the amount of possession and territory that we have seen from this Leinster side. Like they've said, they've stayed within the game. They've been thereabouts so far. Now, ready to go again here. And come on, Marnie, no time to bleed, says Spider-Mick. Another scrum now, back underway. Paul de Vet on the halfway line. Big push. Referee was about to give an advantage, but now Paul de Vet down the short side does very well to stay in the field of play. Pressure in the breakdown. Leinster playing it on the ground. That was pretty illegal there. And somehow he's got away with it right in front of the touch judge as well. And take that shot, mate. Says JD. Stormers will take a lead too. Come on, Stormers, says Stefan. Cross kick attempted here from Leinster. Goes to Osborne. And does Lebock have a replacement? Jonathan Roach can kick for the Poles if he has to go off. Yeah, so they have got Roach. They have got, see, Similani and Yankees are the 2 men that they have off the bench. And hey, I had some visitors. They just left, says Rhea. Now what a Calant on the halfway line. Roach passes out wide to Ben Loader. It's put in a big shift so far, and a knock on the ground from the Stormers, which means scrum. Again, looks like there is a bit of an injury here to Max Deegan, though, which is not what they want here for Leinster. At the moment, he's going like this while on his back, just making sure that the fingers have got feeling in them. That is a bit of a concern. It will bring yet again another stoppage to this game before we get straight back into the scrum. And morning rear, third knock on, says Grayton. 13th knock on, I think, is the better way of looking at it. Oh, just gets his head on the wrong side there, McGrath. Yeah, looked a little bit sleepy. I thought it was Deegan, but it is actually McGrath who got stuck underneath there. Right, he's kicking his leg, so that is a good thing. Just getting told to take their time. This will probably be about 2 or 3 minutes, I would say, just to get McGrath back up on his feet. For anyone wondering about what is coming up for these two sides, the Lions will be in action up against the Stormers. That has taken place. One moment, that's the wrong one. There we go, that's what we want. Ospreys and Leinster, they will be playing in 20 days' time. Stormers and Bulls, the South African derby. They are coming thick and fast at the moment. And that will be in 2 weeks' time. We will be covering that one on the channel with a little bit of luck, hopefully. I think it does fall into a gap in this. Oh, it might actually not. It might actually be at the same time as the Six Nations game. We've got a bit of a chance here to have a quick look. It's on Sunday the 9th. 3:15, 5:45. Yeah, nah, we're good. We can cover that one on the channel and then follow it with 2 games of the Six Nations. And then we'll also be jumping into Super Rugby the weekend after that. Plenty more action coming up on the channel. So anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated. You will be in Billy LaRue came on as fly half for the Bulls last 30 minutes. Did not do too bad either. Yeah, I thought he was a game changer in that one. Billy LaRue, they just seem to be so structured once he made his way on, and a nice calmness about the way that they were playing. Dobson shouldn't have brought or made these many changes. Should have only brought in Zas for Suleiman. Are you covering the Six Nations games? We are, although I will be away for the first week of the Six Nations. I will actually be at a wedding. So during that time, we have actually got another fellow Rugby Itch. Some of you guys will know him. He will be covering the 3 games for us of the opening round of the Six Nations. I will also be hopefully popping into the chat, just because where we're staying, it's like a shared house with a lot of family. So I can't really do a 3 a.m. live stream when everyone's trying to recover from the wedding. So yeah, that's the reasoning behind it. But hopefully I'll be able to pop into the chats and say hi for those ones as well. Looks like Marnie Libok will actually be taken off the field. That is going to be for Similani. What's the crowd attendance? Full house? I don't think it's full, but it's a decent crowd at the Aviva for this contest. There has always been a fly half. Okay, thank you, Grayton. And also tomorrow is our Auckland anniversary hammy. And Leinster will do this in their sleep, says Kieran. Well, they haven't yet. They're only up by 3 points up against a Stormers side that have been struggling to put anything together throughout the first half. But they've only got that 3 lead for Leinster here. Now, with the Stormers not having Marnie Libok, I think could be a bit of a tough one for them. LaRue, good reader of the game, so no surprise he was fundamental when the Bulls win. And Luke McGrath, he is also going to be stretched off the field by the looks of it, so both sides losing a player in that 9-10 channel. A big concern for this Leinster side, losing McGrath. Cormac Foley, he makes his way on. 6:30 a.m. Or sorry, 6:50 a.m. here in New Zealand. The eyes are starting to get a little bit heavier, so we don't want long stoppages like this. We want to get that game back flowing. And Marnie off, yep, he is. So Similani has made his way onto the field for the Stormers. He is actually the second change that the Stormers have had to make due to injury. Stormers must kick their threes or lose, says Robert. And our money off, says Wenmar. Yep, Marnie Libok not continuing in this game due to that knee injury. This will be hard for the players. They've had quite a long stoppage and then they have to get straight back into the action. And it will be a scrum just to help them build up again. Like I said, we've had a lot of scrums throughout this game. You either love scrums or you hate them. If you hate them, this has not been the game for you because it's been a lot. McGrath going to make his way from the field. Crowd with a round of applause for him as well. And Stormers will unfortunately lose this game. Damien Limsa is out, Sasha is out. Yuri Matia will have to take the reins. Right, the thumbs up there for Luke McGrath. So that is at least good news to see. He will hopefully be all right. Right, time is back on. We've got 100 seconds remaining in this first half. And it is going to be the scrum in favour of Leinster. And Yuri can kick, says Wenmar. Does look like he is all right for Luke McGrath. He was given the thumbs up and still chatting away to the medics as he was being taken off the field, so that is a good sign. But now the youngster Cormac Foley feeds the ball into the scrum. And the penalty goes the way of Leinster at scrum time. They've been a real lottery in this game. Looks like Dweber's now hurt himself. Looks like maybe the hip or the thigh. It was a very Irish tanned, or a very tan Irish woman. Surely they all, or surely from all the sunshine they get, says Bill. Yeah, I'm not really one to talk for a tan, although I did get slightly burnt, I think, today. We were supposed to be playing cricket, and then it was supposed to rain, and then it didn't rain, and the sun was out all day, so I got burnt. Unfortunately, a replacement professionals. They can handle it, says Spider-Mick, and we need McGrath for the Six Nations, says Kieran. And that is now going to be a free kick going the way of Leinster. That's actually for a mismatch in numbers is what ends up being the call there. So they're really looking at everything in this game. 15 seconds remaining now. Leinster still on attack. I wonder what they would do if they won a penalty now, being 40 metres out from the line. Would they go for the 3 or would they kick towards the corner? Nice run forward from the replacement Argias Neyman now. Backing it up with a run of his own. Now across Geordie Barrett. Brilliant hands. Gets it to James Lowe. Ball on the outside. Dan Sheehan scores the try for Leinster. And they strike right at the end of the half to the Irish supporters. Will some of the players playing now still get called up to the national team, says Grayton? I believe they will. I think they just wanted to give them some minutes before that Six Nations competition. Just some nice, quick hands there. And James Lowe got that pass away to Sheehan. And Leinster will stretch it out in the second half, says JD. And Geordie Barrett also getting a perfectly timed pass in there. They were pretty happy with it as well, the coaching staff. Now chance here to add the extra 2. Leinster need to improve a lot before they face Bordeaux or to lose, says Kieran, and Sheehan and Lowe will be called up, says Bill. That'd be the 2 main ones, wouldn't they? Maybe, what are the loose forward stocks looking like at the moment? They wouldn't look at someone like a Scott Penny or a Max Deegan, would they? At this point. Ross Byrne, if there was some sort of injury in the 10 jersey, maybe he would get brought in as well. As the Stormers reduce the errors, they will win, says Sportsfan. Yeah, just far too many drop balls throughout that first half for both of these sides, to be fair. But the kick has missed, leaving the score at halftime 15 points to 7. Love Dan and James, very passionate players, says Grayton. And come on the Stormers, if the Bulls can win away from home with all those injuries against the classy Lions, then you can do it against the Leinster B team, says Eric. And Hamish, how could New Zealand selectors let a world-class winger like James Lowe slip through their fingers, says Goodhart. Unfortunately, like in New Zealand, James Lowe, it sounds harsh. And since then, of course, he has developed his game a lot, but he wasn't in the running for any sort of opportunity just because back then they felt like he wasn't really good enough. And since then, he's really proved a lot of people wrong with the way that he plays. He's a competitor out there on the park, but yeah, we just never really got to see it. Same with Bundy as well in New Zealand. As Barrett just a spy in the ranks, says Kieran. I don't think so, but that would be an interesting tactic, wouldn't it? Send him over for a sabbatical just to get all the inside knowledge and then go back and tell everyone. And get to hear Dan Sheehan back in scoring form on his return. Great player, says Philip. Yeah, just a world-class hooker. Currently half-time in this contest, but right on the verge of the half. We did see that last-minute Dan Sheehan try. Also scoring in that first half for Leinster was Andrew Osborne. And then just the one try here for the Stormers out wide for Ben Loader. They have lost Marnie Libok. Will Geordie Barrett become Irish as well now? I don't think so. But he has got heritage with the Irish, I believe. So he'd have to wait about 3 years outside of an All Blacks kit to get that chance. I asked Julian Savia, Corey Jane. Both sat on the wings for a very long time. Says JD and James Lowe play well for the Chiefs with D-Mac. Saw him back in the day against the Stormers at Newlands. Says Grayton. Yeah, they're just showing some of the classy backline movements that we have seen from Leinster in this game. Sharks leading 19 points to 5, so doing a lot better by the sounds of it. Conceding early to Cardiff, but then just continuing to fire back. Now, do have to just wait for that second half to get underway. We will get some stats, though, to do with that first 40 minutes. It was very stop-start, though. A lot of scrums taking place. But in terms of the stats overall, we saw possession 65% in favour of Leinster. 4 clean breaks apiece. 10 defenders beaten by Leinster compared to the 4 of the Stormers. 68% territory. And at the moment, Leinster tackling at an 84%, whereas the Stormers are tackling at 78% as well. Okay, that Chiefs my favourite team. James' favourite winger, says Gerhard. 6 academy players and 4 more on the bench. People bitching about Ireland players coming back. And Dan, first game after an ACL, says Joe. I told you earlier, Stormers loose. And the Sharks Masuku led victory. And also we get the Chiefs home games and cowbells. And this is going to be a hard ask for the Stormers. Yeah, they're going to have to work extremely hard throughout the second half. So far, the penalty count is up to 13 between these two sides. 7 from the Stormers, 6 from Leinster. A few players who have been standing out. Loader got himself the try for the Stormers. 1 try for Andrew Osborne and also the 1 try at the end for Dan Sheehan. Most clean breaks, 2 for Lillian Zas, 2 for James Lowe. Defenders beaten. Geordie Barrett has 4. And then meters made, Lillian Zas has 67. James Lowe has the most for Leinster, having 51. And in terms of the tackling numbers, Ruben van Heeren, he is sitting 9 from 9 in terms of the tackles that he's made. Leinster is pretty much the national team at this stage, sadly. No seats left on the bus for James Lowe. Julian, the driver, says JD. Luke McGrath, before he went from the field, he actually won 3 turnovers for Leinster. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of impact that second half has now with the youngster Foley. Have you ever considered going to New Zealand? I will settle in Hamilton. Chiefs country, am I right? Says Gerhard. You are correct. Yep. And weather in the stadium is brutal. Light rain, but slushing that ball like a bar of soap. Both teams suffering with the ball. Says Joe Lyons. And Hamish, have you asked AI a single question? I don't think so, no. Oh, maybe like back for something, but I can't remember what it would have been. But no, not really. Waikato says Wenmar. Yep, it is the region. But yeah, second half, I think we're going to see a little bit more of the same, although Leinster seem like they are starting to find their rhythm, and now that they've got 2 tries, they will fully believe that they can get 4 by the end of this game and walk away with that bonus point. 24 are with the squad, not playing tonight, so take off the Munster glasses and appreciate Leinster's depth of players, says Joe. And do you take a bet, Amish? Says Robert. Do I take a bet as in like picking who's going to win the games? Not normally, just because I'm terrible at predictions. And I've accepted that. So I just watch the games and talk about them. Going to be a tough second half for the Stormers, but the front row has got to go. Says Yassine. Yeah, off the bench, they have got No Franz Malharba, Andre Hugo Fenta, Satorli, and also Brock Harris, experienced veteran in Stormers. What's up? Says Ray, and that's the thing, like the Stormers with the position and the territory stats and everything, 8-point town, it's not terrible. No good for Irish Rugby Joe in the long run. Here's Kieran there. And Stormers 100% will be back into this game. So much experience out there for them. Says Joe Lions, although they are starting to lose a little bit of it with a couple injuries that we have already seen. England to win the Six Nations, says Robert. And there, once again. So currently in the other URC game that has taken place, the Sharks are winning 21 points to 10. And hey, Hamish, do you think Leinster pay for rice? Probably not. I think that the sides are normally fed, aren't they? Get fed pretty decently as well, to be fair. And Dream and Robert, says Kieran in there as well. But it's just very hard to tell, isn't it? Like at the end of the day, anything can happen. Who knows? Maybe they get a massive victory away from home and then win all their home games and then they're right up there. And Martin there with the faces and the chat as well. Scarlets managing to pull off the win up against Edinburgh in the end, 30 points to 24. There is still a game taking place later on tonight. That is Dragons versus Munster. We will be keeping a bit of an eye on that contest as well, but more than likely it will be when we wake up. And France looks incredible, says Kieran. Yeah, France are looking the goods at the moment. And it's just whether or not they can use that in the Six Nations format, or whether they do, you know, have a little bit of a crumble under the pressure. It's going to be a very important one for them. Second half, I would say, is not a mile off. If schools in Munster and Connacht play rugby and not GAA, then maybe you get the percentage you want in the national team. Till then, if Leinster have more schools, it's common sense. We have more players, says Joe. England have to beat Ireland and see revenge in the minds of the Irish. We have got there winners Reinhardt coming to the Stormers. Can't wait for that. He's going to be a massive player for them. Like, don't get me wrong, Paul Levette does pretty well at times. Same with Herschel Yankees, but having Reinhardt would just be very big for them. Asked AI said, or Asked AI say Halifax, hell is back. What the hell says JD? Trying to sell me a Kia car at the moment on the halftime break. Yeah, second half is not a mile off here. And we will be rearing to go for the second 40. That first half, even though there were a lot of stoppages, actually went pretty fast. So that is great news that we didn't have to wait too long for the big moments to take place. France will throw at least one game. England will beat Ireland next weekend, says Robert. And England will win the Six Nations. Somebody still dreaming, says Spider-Mick. Second half, it sounds like they are just about, they've turned off the lights. They're going to have a little bit of a light show first before we get into the second 40 minutes. We have got there Big Joe McCarthy's brother is on the bench and he's bigger than Joe, says Joe there. Not disagreeing with you. If we don't have domestic competition, how long will the Irish rugby renaissance last, Joe? And Wales surprised everyone with Bud the Irish rugby playing dog, scoring a drop goal to take the Six Nations, says RIP. Well, that's quite the interesting choice. RIP, I do have to say. But who knows, right? But I don't think that will happen, I would say. Right. Playing a little bit of rock music at the moment at the ground. Getting both sides fired up for the second half. We'll go like that and like that as well. Right. Second 40. I would say we're going to see more than likely Leinster come out firing. That'll be the big goal anyway. Themselves on the score sheet early. And Munster, Connacht and Ulster actually have more of an under-20s coming up than Leinster. Some serious talent at all levels out. as it always does. No difference to Munster in 2010 and now Leinster. Here's Joe, but 8 points difference between these two teams. Like I mentioned, 2 tries for Leinster in that first half, one of which being Dan Sheehan, the other being scored earlier on by Osborne. And then the 1 try for the Stormers, Ben Loader, the man who scored it. Right, Leinster making their way out of the tunnel now. And so are the Stormers. Sharks leading 21 points to 5. Here's Robert. Although I think Cardiff scored another try, didn't they, the last time I checked? I think it's 21-10 at the moment, but I could be wrong. Right. Geordie Barrett making his way back out onto the park as well. I'm here because I don't like hearing these UK commentators. They biased AF. Says Yassine. That seems to be more and more common nowadays, I have found. Like, when listening to the commentary, when I actually do get the chance, it's so obvious who the commentators are going for. So hopefully we are able to stay completely impartial and call it down the middle for you guys. And it also just makes it a little bit easier to listen to if it isn't so one-sided. But now Ross Byrne to kick this one off for the second half. And we are now underway. The Stormers, they had a lot of drop balls throughout the first half, but they still had some nice moments. Without Mani Libok, there are some question marks. I would like to see Wales finish strongly in the Six Nations. They're a much better team than their past performances would suggest. Says Goodhart. Yeah, they have just struggled a bit, haven't they, in terms of being able to find that rhythm. Going to be told to use it again. Paul DeVette. Ready to kick this one up. Almost as bad as Sky New Zealand commentary. Yassine says, Kieran, unbiased things help a lot. Says Charlie. One's going to be kicked towards the touchline by Paul DeVette, just exiting. Already a minute down. I feel like this one, it's just going to absolutely fly by. The scrums might be the only thing that slow this half down. Both of these teams want to play at a high tempo. And big slapping shot there from Slimani just to get that ball back onto his side. And Leinster now in possession, 45 metres out from the line. They're making hard work of this, trying to protect this ball. They're being told to use it. That almost was a knock-on from Soroka. People can be quite biased. Says Win. Now Slimani with the short ball off to Argeas Neyman. Now into the pocket again. Kicking it high. Chasing this one for Leinster, going up for it and well taken under the high ball for Tector. Now Foley goes across. Now Byrne looping around. A little bit of a standing start at the moment here for Leinster, but it's good defence from the Stormers to stop them from breaking through. I'm watching Ulster game. Becomes a wildly biased, says Bill. And Sky New Zealand Rugby is good for a laugh, though, in fairness, says Kieran. Now James Lowe breaks through one tackle by Dion Fourie to try and get out of that breakdown to at least not give away that penalty. Instead, they will be looking for 4 tries minimum from this contest. The Stormers, they will be looking to be within 7, if not win the whole thing. They will need to score soon to have a chance to do so. Geordie Barrett now, nice draw and pass from him. Having to join the breakdown as well, cleaning out Moura, and the penalty goes the way of Leinster now. This is a kickable 3. But do they see this as a really good opportunity to score early in the half? Because if that is the case, then I think we are going to see Leinster really ramp it up. Right, Byrne is kicking for the touchline. Does get it out. That's a pretty decent kick from Byrne. Working it nicely towards the corner. Just see it there. Salman Moura trying to get the turnover, and then Vermark ended up getting into that breakdown as the second attempt. You Kiwi lads, the 2 cents are really good. Says Kieran, thank you very much. We have to try and do something with Mark this year, I would say. We actually did last year, I think, briefly. Ended up bringing him on for a live stream. Now going back across to the right-hand side, knock on there from Byrne. They already had the penalty advantage from line-out time. So once again, they will be able to kick this one towards the touchline, but a little bit of a lifeline there for Leinster. I'm not actually sure what that one was for in that rolling maul, if I'm honest. But now, once again, within the 10 metres. Yeah, Geordie Barrett just flicking it out the back door to Byrne, who can't quite hang on to it. Was what the play was just before. Now a rolling maul chance here for Leinster. It is well set. Sheehan is waiting. He's going sideways at the moment, breaking off the back and gives it off to Foley. You got to have a beer with Mark while commentating, Hamish. Says Wenmar. 5 metres out from the line, Dan Sheehan. Back off to the right-hand side. He's driving. Also close to that try line. Deegan. He's a crack too. Boyle. Just go himself. Couple extra metres there. All searching for the ball. Scott Penny decides he wants it. Now they will look to use their backline. Geordie Barrett with a bounce pass, trying to shift that one on. And they go back for yet again another penalty. And Karen, yes, Afrikaans comms in South Africa, not in class. If Hamish and Mark's had to say, says good hard and back from dinner. What was the halftime chat about? It's normally an interesting topic. Honestly, it was just the Six Nations and also just about the game, surprisingly. Doesn't happen too often, but every once in a while we do talk rugby on the channel. Now, I would say that this is the last warning here for the Stormers. They cannot afford any more mistakes just out from their line. Argia Sneyman thought about the offload to Geordie Barrett, but hangs on to it. A mute gains for the Hamish comms. Can you speak Afrikaans? Because I Afrikaant. Yeah, I only know like 2 sentences of Afrikaans. So very good YouTube stuff though. Good hard, says Karen, but that will be the penalty going the way of the Stormers. Joseph Dweba this time winning them the penalty. Come on, the Stormers. We want tries, says LFG. Yeah, honestly, if the Stormers were to win this game, I don't see them winning it with any less than 3 tries on the board. I do think Leinster still have at least one more up their sleeve, and that one hasn't found touch from the Stormers. Now the youngster Henry McErleen. Onto the left-hand side now. Oh, that was almost a little bit high from Alistair Van Mark. The crowd are asking for the penalty. The ref says he was falling into it. It's going to be a big yawn from myself, and that is going to be maybe a bit of an injury here for Nedeling Forshire. And we have good there. I agree, good hard. Kiwi lads the best. Says Rhea. And me too doing it now. Says on the right, we're having Amani. The game is dead without him. So ended up with a knee injury, unfortunately. At the same time as there was the injury to McGrath, and then both making their way from the field. I get some sleep, Pam. You look tired. Says Nate Dog. And what happened to Amani? Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? But yeah, we have got plenty of rugby in terms of streaming that we are still doing for today. We are going to be doing the sevens that has taken place. South Africa have got their semi-final. That is going to be tomorrow morning for South African time. And then alongside that, I've got a filming session with George that will be probably about 3 hours. And I think he wants to do it early afternoon. So I might only be able to sneak about 3 or 4 hours sleep for the night. And Rugby Guru is OP. Says Wemar was actually our first collaboration on YouTube. Way back in the day when we had, I believe it was, we had 94 or so subscribers. He was closing in on the 1,000 and, yeah, ended up doing a gaming video together, which was quite cool. Since then, we've done quite a bit as well. Oh, yeah, so I think it was Alistair Vermark, actually, that got Nedeling Forshire a bit of friendly fire. But it looks like he's going to continue in this match. He is currently bleeding from the face. Rugby Guru is good. Says Kieran there. It looks like it's a busted nose for Nedeling Forshire. Anyone want to finish the statement? I am so Afrikaans that I... This will be interesting. Now scrum feed here for Leinster. They are 30 metres out from the Stormers line, still chasing that bonus point. You reckon British commentator exaggerated when England team play against the opponent, Hammy? It depends on the commentary, I would say, like in terms of who it is. That was nasty, says Bill. I never listened to him before. Maybe I'll check him out, says Gerhard. So he actually does it in Afrikaans normally, the rugby guru. So if you do love, that Afrikaans style of commentary, he would be a good one to watch out for. I believe he's the only one doing it in Afrikaans on all of YouTube for the rugby anyway. Now 33 minutes left. Got ourselves yet again another scrum. It took a little while. But now, going in for it again. And a little bit wobbly at the moment, but it's going to be a good driving scrum there. Foley goes across to Geordie. Barrett skip pass now out wide. Gets tipped up by Warwick Land, and it's another penalty against the Stormers here. And the ball guy's good. A kick on, I think it's called, says Nate Dogg. There's an Irish guy doing BBC commentary, Prendergast, I think, says Kieran. And South Africa thanks, says Bucks. That time it is against Warwick Land. And it's for foul play. 11 penalties now against the Stormers. It has continued to ramp up since the halftime break. Hamish Wisdom from Rugby Itch thinks Western's force is possible contenders. Waratahs look attractive. And the rest of Oz team, says JD. I mean, Tim, he sometimes likes a wild card in terms of, someone that doesn't look like they're going to do that well, but then every once in a while he gets one right. So Afrikaans are always on the right. And Paul Stormers are picked on by that ref. That is not straight though from Leinster. Only 5 metres out from the line. They needed to get that throw in their favour. They will be disappointed about that one. Yeah, Niddling Faucher's face is swelling up at the moment. Looks like his cheekbone is where he's really struggling. Looks like it's slowly going to continue swelling up all throughout the rest of the game. Going to be a little bit similar to Evan Ruiz last week, who had a bit of a shiner. Still 30 minutes left. This game's reached a bit of a screeching halt just in the last 5 to 10 minutes. And now Paul DeVette feeds it in 5 metres out from their line. They have got themselves the advantage. Evan Ruiz tries the offload and they'll go back for the penalty again. Crowd giving the ref a little bit of stick there, I think, for that one. Like I've said, it's just a penalty fest at the moment. No one really asserting dominance in this game, but more so just going back and forth. He's a good fellow. I liked Tim's commentary, Rugby Itch, and he is actually going to be filling in for us for the Six Nations next weekend. So because I am away at a wedding, it means that I am unable to do commentary, but he pretty much said he's more than happy to do all 3 games for us on the channel. So be sure to pop in for those contests. I will also hopefully be popping into the chat every once in a while to have a bit of a conversation with you guys as well. He's a good fella. I like Tim's commentary. And as an Irish commentator on English channel sometimes, says Maculad Mac I'm not sure. There's a few different capitals there and it's confusing me a little bit. So I will just say Mac Winter Super Rugby starting 14th of February is when the first game of Super Rugby will take place. Now Joseph Dweber has got the line-out throw here. Okay, Duon Ferry, unsportsman conduct is something that they're talking about at the moment. Bit of a rough pass, but sits up for Roach. I want Argi to have a great game and also lose. Says on the right. All right, I'll be sure I'll be there. Hamish Ravic, says JD. Now, nicely taken by Lilian Zas. And locking over the ball, Leinster win another penalty. An Englishman name is McCullough. Hopefully I've said that correctly, is it? McCullough? Or McCullough. It might be McCullough, actually. I see Kieran said McCullough. A big thumbs up from one of the fans in the stands after that ball was won by his side. Now kicking towards the touchline for Ross Byrne. Again, he finds it just out from the try line. And yep, says Kieran, and Sharks leading 28 points to 10. With regard, sometime officials just need to let the game flow. Yeah, I mean, this game, second half in particular, has been anything but free-flowing. And Arage says Bucks there. But yeah, it's been very stop-start, unfortunately. Hit the floor first, says the referee. Now off to the left-hand side. Geordie Barrett with the inside ball. This game has had zero flow. Yeah, it's been a tricky watch at times, but it still feels like there's something coming. Oh, Roach driven out. Right, they'll go back again for another scrum. And every once in a while, we've got to remember there will be scrappy games. Definitely when they can be quite competitive. Like Leinster have still been the better side so far, but the Stormers, they can just get out of their own half. That's the main thing. The scoreboard doesn't move, Amy, says Spider Mech. Currently 53 minutes through in this contest. And another scrum for the Stormers. Hopefully. I mean, 12 tackles missed by the Stormers. They've made 89 tackles. 6 tackles missed by Leinster. They've made 36. We're just lacking that free-flowing nature of the game currently. 26 minutes remain, though. Our UG commentary and analysis is way better, says Karen. That's going to be the free kick going the way of the Stormers, so I don't think they'll do anything but just boot this ball way downfield. Yeah. Someone with a strong South African accent in the background talking. Sharks leading 28 points to 17. Scoreboard is frozen. Says on the right. And yeah, we haven't seen any tries scored in quite some time. And how many scrums now? World record, says Bodemick. It's got to be up there. Or maybe not world record, but there's been a lot throughout this half. Right, Mangan is going to make his way onto the field. That is for Deeney. He's had a decent shift out there for the side. Covering Sevens game tomorrow. We certainly are going to be doing the semi-finals. New Zealand versus Kenya. Another game that I will be covering on the channel. Back to the right-hand side. Leinster with the possession. Into the pocket, Ross Byrne will kick it high. And Zas doesn't take it cleanly, but manages to get it after it does bounce out of his hands. Paul DeVette going to the short side. Not able to find that next offload there for the Stormers. Pick and go from Ben Jason Dixon. I think that's almost his first carry of the day, if I'm not wrong. If you scrum this much against the Bulls, they will eat you alive. Says Gerhard. Now Evan Ruiz. We haven't seen enough of his ball running, I don't believe either. DeVette goes to Warwick Land, who decides to change up the play. Looking for a cross kick, nicely claimed by Andrew Osborne. It's like a lucky dip these days. Scrums have become a total joke. That's a great kick in behind. What a clan. Just stays in the field of play. Now passes it across to Similani. He's been on the field for about 20 minutes. I think that's the first time we've seen him. Leinster happy to keep that score like that. No need for urgency. Hopefully Stormers can blow that sentiment out of the water, says Wenmar. The crowd chanting for Leinster now. Be kicked high by Paul DeVette. I see taken by Andrew Osborne, rushing through with Zas, but he did miss the tackle. Off to the left again. Two-man tackle on Max Deegan. Foley. Another kicking behind here from Ross Byrne. Looking for territory and does get it into the 22. When was the last time Stormers were in possession near the 5-metre line? I'll one-up you. And that is, when was the last time the Stormers were in possession 22 metres out from Leinster's line. In fact, even in the half of Leinster, I don't think we've seen pretty much it all throughout the second half so far. Why did they bring over a linesman for another side, or for the other side of the scrum? Are the Highlanders better without Aaron Smith, or are they worse without? I mean, not having Aaron Smith certainly has that big gap, doesn't it? That's going to be overthrown. Dan Sheehan claims it now. So the kick towards the touchline has worked wonders for Leinster. Ball pops out the back door. Byrne, Similani rushes up. So does Ben Loader now. All they need is the pass on the inside. But great defence from the Stormers to shut down James Lowe. Another penalty advantage going against them. This time it is going to be for not rolling away. Mangan now. Dion Ferree over the ball. Double blow the whistle. Worse, I reckon. World-class player that. Is this going to be the yellow card now? What happened on the left person? Says JD. Right, too many penalties. Once again, another warning for Dion Ferree and his side. Just a lack of consistency, I think. Well, the only thing consistent at the moment is the fact that the Stormers are going to give away a penalty when they're 5 metres out from their line. It has been extremely consistent in this game. Now Leinster, chance for the tap and go. Sheehan gets within 2 metres. Andre Hugo Fenn to the man who has to make that tackle. Geordie Barrett slides through and does get the try. South Africa guy has sorted out Leinster's defence, and ref should let this game flow more rather than giving penalties. I assume that would be from Spider Meek. And also, but Falau Fakatava could be the next Aaron Smith for the Highlanders. Oh, I thought Dean did a great job. Sad to see. It was probably end in a try. Says on the right. Yeah, just repetitive pressure from Leinster. They just haven't been able to get out of their own half here. And it has been heavily costing them throughout the second half, the Stormers. And this is going to be extremely fatiguing, because they've just gone and had to make tackle after tackle after tackle. 22 points to 7. Kick is successful for Ross Byrne. Only 21 minutes left. And Leinster need one more try to get themselves the winning bonus point. Well done, New Zealand lad. Says Dennis there. And Geordie Barrett, you beauty, mate. Says JD, you're doing extremely well so far for Leinster since making his way into the team, Geordie Barrett. And anyone have faith in another Stormers try? And all of Leinster's try scorers. So Geordie Barrett got one, Dan Sheehan got another, and then Andrew Osborne scored the first of the match. Those are the 3 try scorers for the Stormers. They have just had the one try. That was Ben Loader who managed to get that one. Now, ready to go again, kicking it off for the Stormers. Colhane on the field, that is for Soroka. And Argus Neyman receives the kickoff and does make a couple metres again. Jack Boyle hit hard. Paddy McCarthy probably not too far from making his way out onto the field. Now kicking this one high, it's come off the side of the boot. And Alistair Vermaak accidental offside against Paul de Vet. So it is yet again another penalty. Played it intentionally in an offside position for de Vet there. They are just disappointed. The Stormers struggling big time. And Dobbo said he picked his best team. What a load of nonsense. Says Peter Williams, Argus Neyman. At the moment, they have got his status 5 offloads, 2 defenders beaten, and 11 carries in total. So he's been extremely busy. They're on the field. There we go. Paddy McCarthy. I mentioned how he wouldn't be a mile away, and he now makes his way onto the field for Boyle. And here comes big Paddy McCarthy, one for the future, says Joe. And the Stormers have a man down. I can't tell from the scoreboard, so they do not. But they did lose Marnie Lebock during the first half, and ever since he's made his way from the field, there has been no attack pretty much from the Stormers. So I know that he gets a lot of stick for his goal kicking, but the difference between him being on the field and not has been massive. And can Geordie be picked for the New Zealand versus South Africa game at Auckland later this year? I believe so. I think he is available for that one. I think I need positive news now. How are the Sharks doing? Says on the right at the moment, the Sharks, they are winning 28 points to 17 after 51 minutes. So 11 points in their favour. Should be enough, but it's just very hard to tell. James Lowe sitting down. The man in front of him. Nicely done by Watercalant to get out of that one. Now Leinster with the pass off to Argia Manu once again. Gets his offload away, so now moves up to 6. Andrew Osborne, draw and pass. Out wide, Deegan cuts inwards. 10 metres from the try line now. Foley, rough pass there, misses about 3 of the options, but Barrett picks it up. Cross kick there from Leinster, and that will be the bonus point try. Dan Sheehan scores it. And that is a fantastic finish from Leinster. Leinster Kiwis. Kiwis taking over, mate, says JD, and congrats to Leinster B. After 3 seasons, they finally have their first win over the Stormers, says Eric. And Dan Sheehan now getting his second try of the match. And that is now the bonus point as well here for this Leinster team. Has the quick look up. Lowe wasn't out on his wing because he was setting up that pass. Red card. Joke was too high, dangerous. Not Dobbo's fault. Away to Leinster with neighbours. Famous defence was always going to be a huge ask. Obvious result, says Robert. I mean, earlier on you did say that for the Stormers to win, they needed to take the 3s. Would you say that now that you've seen the amount of attack that was coming from Leinster, they were always going to be chasing the bonus point? Would you change that opinion a little bit and say maybe they should have continued going for the corner to hope for the best? And the kick has gone over too, so making the score 29 points to 7 here. Dan Sheehan, his day is done. He makes his way off, and John McKee does make his way on for Leinster. And it's hard to take 3s from 70 metres out, though, says on the right. Exactly right. Like, they just haven't had territory throughout this whole game. A nice bonus point try for Dan Sheehan. I told you, my friend, the Stormers are weak. It's All Blacks and Springboks playing against the Stormers. Going to lose big, says Adrian. Like another change has been made. And that is going to be Paul de Villiers. Now kicked off long towards the 22. I told you earlier they would lose. A 3s was their only chance. There was a very slim one, says Robert. Yeah, it'd take a lot of 3s to catch up 29 points, that is for sure. Need 10 to be in the lead at the moment. What a Calant. Now thinking about the skip pass goes to Ben Loader. And Stormers, what happens is LFG, and in Afrikaans we say Stormers. I'm not sure what that says, so I probably won't read it. I assume it's not good, though, for the Stormers. But eyes on me, lads. Another loose ball. James Lowe picks it up, and he's going to get the breakaway interception try. And it's another one for Leinster now. They are just going to check this one to make sure that it is all right. In the background, we saw there Watercalant going like this, saying we need the TMO. So more than likely this one could end up being ruled out. The ref reminds me of O'Gara. I can see the comparison. I know everyone joining late. Have Leinster got the bonus point now? They certainly do. Got the 4 tries on the board, and this could be number 5 for James Lowe if there isn't a knock on. I assume they're saying there was a knock on in the tackle. Does hit the hand of Max Deegan. So I think that is going to be no try. Rassi needs to get all these provincial coaches together. Something's gone drastically wrong with these teams in URC. Absolute disgrace, says Tobo Lee. Another one bites at us. And I wish the South African teams would go back to the Southern Hemisphere rugby for the sake of rugby down there, Leinster fan. And if the Stormers can get a white flag, then maybe they should raise it. And remember when I said, say properly please, Hamish, remember. I say now England win the Six Nations, says Robert. Come off the hand of Max Deegan. It's a knock on, and it's going to be no try for James Lowe. So he doesn't get his first of the match. Still eagerly awaiting the crowd are booing, but it is the right decision. Max Deegan shrugs his shoulders and says maybe. He didn't actually know whether or not that one had hit the hand. Looks like Paul de Villiers, he will make his way from the field. And Herschel Yankees will make his way on. France going to win the Six Nations. Says 0-1 Binza. And go Stormers go, says Julian. Yeah, they just need a few good moments here, the Stormers. Yes, it might be tough for them to win this game, but just another try would be nice. I was surprised to see the polls showing Stormers as the winner by 54%. It's extremely difficult to beat Leinster in Dublin. Yeah, this will be Leinster's first ever win over the Stormers as well, and they've done it in pretty comfortable fashion. Connors, he is onto the field for a Mackerlin. I think it's time for a new coach at the Stormers, says Graham. Too much movement there at scrum time. Herschel Yankees getting smashed there by the replacement. Number 8. Now 16 minutes left. It's also hard to find a non-biased South African when it comes to anonymous pulses on the right. Whatever you say, Stormers definitely brought the storm to Ireland this weekend. It was like an episode of Captain Planet, says Nate Dog. Another scrum. It is still the Stormers' feet. They have maybe been out of their half once so far throughout the second half, and even then it was probably debatable. Just not seeing that consistency at the moment, unfortunately. The Stormers are blowing in the wind, proves they are great. Bob Dylan fans, and that is going to be another penalty, this time going the way of Leinster against the scrum feed. So a big one for them there, Slimani, the man who receives a lot of credit for that scrum penalty. Stay in the contest, please, is the comment from the referee. I think the Stormers are trying, but they just haven't been able to here. Once again, opting to go for the corner. They want more points. And if this was a boxing match, think the pitch be full of white towels. Stormers not playing, or may RB not left play. Another guy that don't belong there is Herschel Yankees. I don't know where he gets his surname. RBO is really no good. Now thrown in, and that one's going to be not straight from Leinster. Getting it right there for John McKee. I saw teams lose by bigger score differences with the same difference of on-field play. Says on the right, the Stormers are saying, without requiring a mirror, rough translation of their Afrikaans comments, says Stefan. The Western Cape are going to deport the Stormers to South Africa. And Ireland ref, how is that allowed, says Irwin. It was due to the, I think Piardi was supposed to fly over, but there were some issues with his flight, which meant that they only had the option of an Irish referee. I assume that they could have found someone else, though. But I don't think the ref's been too bad throughout this game. South African boys talk a lot of hot air, lol, says 0-1 Inza. But now that's another penalty to Leinster. 2 scrums in a row. Slimani has managed to win. Bloody hell, why? Whether Ireland or Leinster, our lineouts are pure dross. And I'm going to get out of the chat. It's really, really bad by the Stormers, says Adrian. And again, kicking it to the corner. I don't think Leinster are going to make that same mistake twice. Just that big push. Brock Harris asking for the penalty, but the ref, Leinster did the better. Now ready to throw the ball in. Argeas Neyman takes it nicely. Too late to start giving out about the ref, says Kieran. Now rolling ball. Foley goes short side. Oh, what a tackle that is from Ben Loader. Manages to shut him down. Leinster B team looking so good. Balls beware, says Eric. Now 5 metres out from the line. Been looking around for even Rus run today, and I think we've only seen the one so far, and maybe that is something that also hasn't helped the Stormers side out, not being able to use their forwards to their advantage round the side. John McKee gets closer to the line once again. Oh, loose ball picked up now. Oh, interception, pass thrown, and the try is scored by Andrew Osborne for his double. Still got a chance to get in a hat-trick, unlike Dan Sheehan. They did take from the field. But Leinster now move into the 30s. It's never too late, says Irwin. And also, yes, it seems so, Nigel. And also, we have got, South Africans have great humour, says on the right there. Yeah, loose ball, picked up Ruan now. It's one of the only passes I've seen him thrown today, and it was an interception to go straight into the hands of Andrew Osborne. When a team is losing 36-7, not much point in complaining about the refs, says Brian. Kick has gone over to why Stormers' best players always leave the team, says Julian Moses. Turning into a very one-sided affair between these two teams. They were close at half-time, but since then, Leinster have just continued to go and just given themselves a really good chance of staying at the top of the bunch. It's too late to refund my bet for the Stormers to get 3 tries or more, says on the right. Oh, nicely taken by the Stormers. Possession inside of the Leinster half. What can they do with it now? That is the question. Herschel Yankees goes back across to the right. Now to the right-hand side again. De Villiers trying to make the meters in the middle of the field. Over the ball there. Penalty goes against Leinster. I can forgive the Stormers because they are playing against the Viking. Not on the correct mark there for Evan Ruiz taking the quick tap. They do have to go back for it yet again. Just asking for them to be on the mark. And Leinster have gone from early to late starters, says Kieran. And you never know, when a team hasn't won, they can relax, says Brian. And yeah, now a chance here for the Stormers, only about 10 metres out from the try line. Could be exactly what they need. Having Arge and Geordie has a huge impact on Leinster B. Holy moly. Says Nate Dodd, the Osborne brothers are proving to be some serious young talent, says Philip. Yeah, Andrew getting himself 2 tries in this one. Jamie having some great games for Leinster throughout the last little while. Stormers now looking for the rolling maul. They're not a mile out, and that one's going to be pushed down by Leinster and trapped, and the ball was not out, not given very much time at all. Wants to score for the Sharks game, please. At the moment, the Sharks, they are 28 points to 22 up. So they are leading by 6. Hope Arge doesn't get injured. Box need him. Says Gerhard and Dobbo day job very tough as target. This match for a bigger win. And the ref doing grand. Second up, South African fans. Your butts are getting kicked, says Dennis. Now just the 10 minutes remaining on the clock. In fact, 9 minutes now to go. Can't come soon enough for the Stormers. That was their best chance of the half to score. It might almost be their only chance that they have had, which just sounds harsh, but it is honestly true. We've hardly seen them with possession in hand. And Stormers getting so hammered they could be raising barns for the Amish, says Neville. And Dennis, one day it will happen to you, to your team. We'll also get karma. Be careful being rude, says Irvin. What had happened with Sevens Rugby South Africa. So they are through to the semi-finals. They will be taking on the Australians. And we will be covering that game on the channel. So be sure to keep an eye out for that one. Now back into the pocket. 3 Stormers players trying to get the charge down, but not quite able to get there in time. Warwick Lant now running up the field. Again, another attacking opportunity for the Stormers side. Brock Harris, not exactly known for his pace. Now Lant trying to get around the side. And also there we saw a bit of Paddy McCarthy trying to get on the ball too. What's the bets for another Leinster try before the 80, says Brian? Relatively high at the moment. Now nice run from Similani. Hasn't had a huge amount of the ball throughout this game since making his way off the bench. Ben Loader. He's going to be tackled well. Now Ruben van Heeren. I'm not rude. That's what I see. Your team is pretty poor today. And what time says Julian? For the semi-final, they are going to be playing at, I believe it's 9:30-ish a.m. South African time. Yeah, we will hopefully get those streams scheduled in the relatively near future, probably tomorrow, or not tomorrow, sorry, in probably about 6 hours' time, somewhere around there. I wish a peaceful rest tonight. No miracles are going to happen here. Good night all, says Gerhard, and another penalty goes against Leinster this time for playing the man on the ground. 7 minutes left. Number 22 diving off feet, so that is against Cormac Foley. You see there, yeah, just getting the timing slightly wrong. Like they've said, a bit of a soft one to give away. But yeah, so in terms of the sevens games that we are covering, just as the Stormers kick it towards the touchline, we will be doing Kenya versus New Zealand for the 9th place playoff. We will be doing, hopefully, Spain versus Argentina, although there might be a longer build-up for South Africa, Australia instead, and just pick up from that commentary. Then France versus Fiji at 10:27. And then also the 3rd place playoff and the semis later on we will be doing on the channel as well. Leinster's next game for Leinster, that has taken place in 21 days' time, or 20 days' time, I should say. And that is going to be up against the Ospreys. And for the Stormers, they have got a game in 2 weeks' time. They'll be going head-to-head with the Vodacom Bulls. And then the week after that, they are going head-to-head with the Lions. So plenty of South African derbies coming up for the Stormers team. We have to get some form of points from those ones. Now, Watercalamp with a draw and pass on the outside. Chance here for Ben Loader. In fact, no, it's Lillian Zas gets the offload away to Herschel Yankees. Just hasn't quite got the pace and is tackled by James Lowe. Good scramble defence coming from the away side, and Leinster wins the penalty again. That is just brilliant defence coming in. Like I said, 75 minutes in, just coming back from injury and managing to run the whole way back. Not poor, and saying suck it up is rude. And European Cup game, says Kieran. And also thank you, Hamish, says JD. And the chat as well. And thanks, Kiwi Lad. Time for a coffee, everyone, says Spider-Mick. Yeah, not for myself. As soon as this game is over, I am heading straight to bed for hopefully about 3 or 4 hours sleep. Well, I was really back in form, says Kieran. And Leinster is just too good at home, says Brian there too. And it looks like James Lowe's back in business. Now 4 minutes remaining here. Just talking about James Lowe, how they do want to take him off soon maybe and just keep him ready for that Six Nations Stormers will be back, says Irvin. Dan Sheehan does get the player of the match, scoring 2 tries. Doing very well throughout the time he was on the field. Right, the time is turned back on again. And is that 12 or 13 Leinster wins in a row, says Brian. Well, in terms of this URC competition, that is 10 in a row for Leinster. And then they also got themselves a few handy wins in the Champions Cup. So it would be right up there in terms of those numbers, because they beat La Rochelle and they also managed to beat the most recent Champions Cup opposition. Good night, Amy, says Irvin. We will see you later on. And agree, Reslow, says Kieran there too. But yeah, be sure to pop back in for the sevens that has taken place in around 12 hours time. Oh, loose ball. James Lowe looking for the offload, doesn't get it away cleanly. Now Watercalant. Selling the big dummy, goes off to the right-hand side. Paul de Villiers. It's going to be a big shot coming in on him. Some good stepping from Leinster now, and they've managed to get that ball back in quick succession. Although, penalty goes the way of the Stormers. Evan Russ told to slow down Cardiff, 22 Sharks, 28 Sharks better score. No, it's tough without any meat in Cardiff, says Neville. The Sharks have to be very careful not to concede late in that game. Now Herschel Yankees puts a wide cut out pass to Le Leonzas. Roach trying to join that breakdown, but just couldn't get the angle he was after. would have had more views if you watched the Sharks, says on the right. I don't think, hard to say. Normally, the Stormers do bring more viewers than the Sharks, at least we have found from recent times, although with the form of the Stormers, it is a little bit up and down. Funny thing, I enjoy South African rugby, and when a second string team puts over 30 points on a South African side, something's kind of wrong. And Leinster too good at home, Stormers no pushover, says Kieran. And now again, another opportunity for the Stormers to get a rolling maul try. 2 minutes remaining on the clock. Not a lot of time to work with. They've just announced over the loudspeaker about Dan Sheehan getting that Man of the Match award. A very solid game. Andre Hugo Venter. Ready to throw this ball in. Goes to the front to Ruben van Heeren. I like to listen to you. Says Michael, and Evan Ruiz does score the try right at the end of the game. Still another minute and a half. Maybe they get one more here, the Stormers. But a much-needed try has now been scored by the away team. I think games where South Africa are predicted to win will bring in more views, in my opinion. Says on the right. Yeah, although Cardiff, like Leinster, we still have quite a few people watching this game for Leinster. Whereas Cardiff, when we do their games, we normally have like 5 people who tune in for Cardiff. So that's probably the big difference here, because this game was hopefully, was supposed to be competitive, but didn't end up being the case. Warwick Lant now with the kicking tee. Got 20 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Now, strikes the ball, keeps it low and almost gets it over, but does end up missing. 36 points to 12 with 50 seconds remaining. We have there, Hamish, I demand you do the Munster game. No excuses, wags finger. I think I would fall asleep during the Munster game, not because of the rugby action, just because of the fact that we've pretty much done an all-nighter, with the exception of like an hour little nap in between. South African teams need to build up budgets for teams, 3 more years. And not bad for Leinster with 23 players down, says F. Now Roach moves up to 22 metres out. Dan Sheehan, man of the match in his first game since July. Impressive. Yeah, it is great to see him back. And certainly picked up from where he left off. Now 10 seconds remaining. Similani tries to scoop that ball on. Ruan now gets it away to Watercaland. If we have a stoppage now, it will be the end of the game. Ushel Yankees goes across to Ruben van Heeren. At least the Stormers are trying to win my bet for me. Says on the right, that is true. They've got the 2. They need 1 more now. Now Watercaland gets the offload away. It's a loose one, knocked on by Ruiz. And that'll be the end of this game. 36 points to 12. Leinster on a 10-match URC winning streak here. And the Stormers just never quite able to get the momentum in their favour. Looking at the way that it did sit in terms of the overall just head-to-head, the territory and the possession speaks wonders. 69% territory here for Leinster, and then possession was 60 in this game. Puts a little bit of respectability on the score of still a drubbing from the mostly second-string team. And Leinster Bulls waiting for you at Loftus. And GS Hamish, great job. So we will quickly have a look at that other game that has taken place between the Sharks and Cardiff. We might as well look at the final moments of that one as well, just to see if the Sharks can hold on. It's currently sitting 72 minutes through. If you guys want me to stay for another 8 minutes, we can do just that. Don't worry, I will financially recover. It was an online bet of 10p. Says on the right. And thanks, Average. Great commentary. See you next time. Says Brian. Now Jaden Hendrickse goes to Jordan. Got time on the clock here for the Sharks. Both teams have already got themselves the bonus point. That is a brilliant run from Makazole Mapimpi. Puts it in behind. Sits up for Hendrickse. Passes it off. And that is the try. I think we just became the Sharks' lucky charm there. Soon as we start watching, they score. Within 10 seconds? Sure, go for it, stay on, says Richard. So the only South African team to win this weekend was the Bulls, and that was against another South African team, although the Sharks now look like they will be able to win this contest. And thanks so much, great commentary. See you next time. Off to munch some hot food. Thanks so much, you're a godsend. See you, Dennis. So yeah, I won't get to see you guys next week. Of course, we will get to see you tomorrow for the matchup that has taken place, or the multiple matches that have taken place for the sevens. But yeah, next week for the Six Nations, we will have Tim filling in for us from Rugby Itch. We will hopefully be popping into the chat every once in a while. Score says Karen at the moment, 33 points to 22 now in favour of the Sharks. That's commentary, Hamish. Very much appreciated. Says Philip, you're more reliable than Irish government broadcasting. Says Nate. And that kick has gone over, making the score now 35-22 in favour of the Sharks. So that should be the win for them there. I mean, with that try, we could probably end it now and say safely that the Sharks would win that game. Who knows? Although Cardiff have now got the ball back. So it might not be over as of yet. Sitting about 40 metres out here for Cardiff. Now going back across to the right here. Chance down the wing for Webb. Back to the left again here. Quick hands from Cardiff. They are not done as of yet. They can score now. They'll be right back in at 6 minutes to go, says Neville. Yeah, the clock is going down very quickly, so if Cardiff want to win, they have to score extremely soon. Good defence so far, though, from the Sharks. Cardiff are going into sixth gear. Just continuing to go phase after phase. Passing back across wide, cut out pass, taken nicely by Lilo. And the Sharks, with Hendrickse, manages to get the important turnover. Now 5 minutes left. Oh, almost a bit of a fumble from Jordan Hendrickse at the back. And how does this match affect the Challengers Cup? It doesn't at all. So the Challengers Cup is already determined in terms of who is going to be playing who. So the Sharks, Lions and Stormers are all going to be taking part in that comp. Sharks only a couple metres out from Cardiff's line now, going down the short side, tries the little grubber from Thomas Young. A lot of competition for that ball, and it's the big man Vincent DeChuka gets it away, and brilliant run forward from Yapinke. So that will be now definitely the win for the Sharks. They have scored 2 tries in 3 minutes since we started watching them, but with that try, I would say that they are definitely going to win that match. Sharks needed to engage 4 before, says Neville, so I think that is where we can confidently end it. The Sharks now with a 40 points to 22 lead, doing very well and at that regard. But nonetheless, I will see you guys for the sevens that has taken place. South Africa versus Australia. That is going to be the semi-final starting in the morning for you guys in South Africa at around 9:30 a.m. But we will keep you updated in terms of timings when we do schedule the streams in the near future. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you all for the next one.